Hey Ali, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining. I was just checking out your stuff. It's amazing.
Thank you. Let's go. I'm Ali. My parents are Persian, but I'm born in the Netherlands, actually a village real close to Amsterdam. And I grew up here as a little kid. And just to hop on the creatives meeting creatives, it's funny because I never actually kind of knew I was creative until I started developing the entire thing for myself. And
What
it
thing?
for me, it actually started on a real like I was 20 to 21 when I figured out like, okay, my parents were like the old school kind of people. They wanted me to become like a doctor
Yeah,
or an architect or
me
something.
too.
So yeah, so for me, to people that admire the things that I shoot or the work, every time when they tell me like, hey, you make cool stuff, I feel blessed to hear that. Yeah, for real. Because
That's awesome.
where are
Well,
you from?
what I live in Los Angeles, but my parents are from Jordan and they're doctors actually.
Yeah, and
And
didn't you live in Beirut?
my business partner,
Oh, your
Noor,
business partner, she lives in Beirut?
she's from Beirut. Yeah.
Oh yeah, check.
And we also have people in Beirut, like our whole content team is there. So
Oh wow.
some of them are on this call.
Well, I
And
thought when I saw that, I was amazed. I was like, yes, these are the kind of people that I would love to connect with.
That's great. Well, we started this business 7 years ago. It's starting to get popular, like pretty popular, and we made Forbes 30 under 30 this year.
Oh, nice.
So
Congratulations.
thank you. So and it was a surprise. So things have been really exciting for us, and we're happy to represent and get all these artists like in front of the world. So we have like people like National Geographic and Facebook searching every day on the platform looking for new stuff.
Yeah,
And as you know, artists have been like really gated out of this experience and with their ownership and distribution of their work. So we're working hard to like get everybody paid and in front of business opportunities. So
oh, that's amazing, especially in times like this.
ugh, I know it's not easy, but it's great for. I mean, it's great. It's a great time too because you can look back at your work, you can archive it, you can share it when otherwise you might be too busy to organize your creativity.
Yeah, exactly.
What has it been like for you this year? Like, what have you been doing
Like the year that just started or last year?
this past 12 months behind
The
us?
past 12 months. Well, if you would have told me 2 years ago that this would have happened, I would have had like a whole total different mindset on everything that I would have done the last couple of years. When the pandemic first happened, I
Mhm.
would have I thought that, man, I'll get through it. But I think the creative sector, especially here in the Netherlands, got hit the hardest.
Yeah.
Especially when there were no festivals and they cut off the lines for all that stuff first, which makes sense. But yeah, it really opened my eyes of like how to use my creativity for different outputs to create different sources of income, but also how to approach jobs on a whole different level. So it's not just only taking
Mhm.
pictures that you take a let's say you just pay for someone to come take pictures for you and that's it. You rather sit down with someone and brainstorm and help them grow their businesses. And I
Yeah.
think as being a creative, uh, I think it opened up all our eyes. I think collaborating is the future within the industry that we're in, especially doing something like this. If it's only as you're only asking like 30 minutes of my time, like in the entire day, so it should be worth doing it, right?
Yeah.
So I think it really opened my eyes to see like, okay, how should I expand my business as a photographer and how should I use my pictures to show people how to do it different.
Like what? Can you give an example?
Um, well, let's say when I first got the email of Scopio and it was to submit images, I've always been real skeptical about things like that. It's like Shutterstock or whatever. You don't want to just submit your images and see
Yeah.
where it goes. But it just so happened to turn out, especially during the Black Lives Matter movement here in the Netherlands, and everyone was going to the damn square. And when that happened, at first I was like, okay, we have to have like the 1.5 meter rule. I don't think a lot of people are going to show up. But then I sat down with my girlfriend and we talked about it. And she said, well, it's going to be a historical day. You want to be part of that day. And when she explained it to me like that, I was like, yeah, you're right. You want to be part of history. You don't want to
Yeah.
just sit back and just see what happens. Let's just go and see what's going to happen. And when we showed up there was over 6,000 people. And I think everyone's thinking the exact same thing. Like, you want to be part of history.
Yeah.
And it so happened to me having my camera with me. And when I took those images, and I wasn't doing it for, no one asked me to do it. I wasn't getting paid for it. It wasn't for a publishing. It wasn't for a magazine. It was just for myself and to
Yeah.
share the experience with everyone on Instagram or whatever. So when I saw that email coming in, I was like, yeah, those are the images that I want to submit and see how they're going to react on it. And so it turned out that those were the images that you guys reached out to me like, hey, what's your story behind this? And that's one of the biggest examples I can give you. And it's not like a life-changing thing, but it's definitely like you create like a subject to talk with people. People are like relating faster to you when they see you did something like that.
Yeah, and also, just like you said, it's like archiving and storing them. And so it's like, yeah, you might have been there, part of history, but if it's on your phone, like, for example, I was talking to a photographer yesterday, and he's saying that there's lawsuits being filed in New York against the police. And he said they need evidence for them. So, I mean, you have all this content, all these images, like these are really goes and shows, and it really proves the point. If
Yeah.
people try to deny it or, underplay it, you can't. So outside of COVID, like, what was your life like before that?
I used to tour with DJs. I used to tour with a DJ called Nicky Romero, and I think that happened when I was 25, maybe 26, and I toured with him for 3 entire years. And I was in and out everywhere. I think I saw every continent on the planet within 6 months. I was going in and out, and it really opened my eyes of like, okay, this is what photography can bring with it. I had no idea that something like that would ever happen.
So you just toured with him, like wherever he went, you were just
yeah,
his photographer?
basically, yeah. I was his personal photographer for 3 years straight.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was mind blowing, but it got to a point where I was almost having a burnout.
Yeah.
Because you might not, I mean, you all live the same life. It's not just the artist that is living that life. His entire crew is living the exact same life. It's hotels in and out, flights in and out.
Yeah.
You're going everywhere. Plus, in the beginning, everything is fun. But at a certain point, and especially if you want to grow your business and you want to be part of someone's business, and those are the ambitions that I had, I was like, okay, well, if this is going to be my life, it has to be worth it. Like, so what is it money that's going to make me happy? No. Is it the traveling that's making me happy? Yes. But is this the way that I want my business to be? And I noticed that I was away so many times. Like, I think almost 250 days a year I was on road.
Wow.
And I saw a lot of my clients.
I mean, that's good. You were 25. I mean, that's awesome at 25.
Yeah, hey, I always say, like, it's an experience and no one can take it away from me.
Yeah, and it's a perfect age. Like, you don't want to maybe do that in 10 years, but.
Yeah, maybe too old, but I mean, maybe if I was making the fee that he was making, I would stay doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think that really opened my eyes for the possibilities that creativity can take you. And being on tour, it also showed me like everything starts with planting a seed. So let's say the artist is the seed and he blows up, like he has a hit record and they want him all over the world. So it's not just himself that's representing him, it's like a manager, but in most cases there's like a whole creative team behind it. So being on the road with him, I was with the VJ, I was with the light assistant, I was with the camera guy, and it was us four making sure that everything that you would see on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, everything that he was posting was created by an entire team. Yeah. And there was actually a lot of thought put in it, more than I would think, because in the beginning it was like, okay, just join us. And after 6 months, it was like, okay, we have to make a plan. It's like there's a bunch of festivals coming.
Yeah.
He's He's playing main stage on most of them. So how are you going to make sure that he is going to keep up with the main stage feeling that he's like? How are you going to bring the experience that the DJ is bringing to the people on stage also on his social platforms? And I thought that was a real interesting matter of case to experience, and I was real happy to work with other creatives.
So how do you, like, with lighting and with everything, like, what is that like? Like, where do you feel like you started off and where do you think you are now? Like, what did you not know and what do you know now? Do you, like, working on that? 'Cause I know there's like lighting issues and like the, like,
Well, if you're touring and there's like certain songs that you know, like there's going to be a certain drop, and on that drop, fireworks are going to happen, or the lights are going to go up, or something's going to happen. So it's teamwork. So it's not just when you're working on an artist or let's say a project or anything, you're working with an entire team. So teamwork makes the dream work.
I say
So
that every day, literally.
yeah,
That's my motto.
it's not just him. And you know, if it's a picture or just like I said, like you know on exactly what drop on what second, where to stand to make eye contact with the light guy, to know, okay, like you're gonna do this, right? Okay, and then boom, shoot. And
That's
it's
awesome.
not just you that created the perfect picture, it's like the entire team that helped to create the perfect picture.
That's awesome. So do you feel like your music, do you feel like your passion is in music photography or?
I thought so in the beginning, and I wish I could still do it, but I think also if you would have told every artist in the world that this would have happened, everyone would have had a total different mindset. Like they would have handled things differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, my passion would always be in music, and I would always love to work with artists. But I think where my passion is right now is to spread knowledge. Like that's
Yeah.
basically right now we have a curfew going on right now, and we can't even do like a evening stroll outside. At
Uh,
9 p.m. you have to be inside. You're not allowed to go outside till like 4:30 or 5:30 in the morning, something like that. So now I'm stuck here between these walls, and all I have is, like I told you, the experience that no one can take away from me. But also when I'm talking to people, like I'm doing to you, or when I'm in a Facebook group talking to people, the only thing you can share with each other is your knowledge. So yeah, I would always love to keep working in the music industry, but I would rather help people grow, or if I can give someone advice, or if there's anything you want to ask me, just feel free to call me or hit me up or whatever.
that's awesome. Have you ever done like a medium that you're like, have you started to try different mediums?
Like what kind of mediums? Like you mean podcasts and stuff?
Like different formats, like I don't know if you do video or any illustrations or are you trying to like develop other skills now that you're at home?
Yeah, but more like business wise, more to like to be honest with you, I feel like I'm turning more into like a sales type of guy.
Ah,
It's like nowadays, like budgets back in the day, they used to like you would send like an inquiry and they would just look at it and be like, yeah, that's fine, do it. Nowadays, the client want to know is like, okay, if I'm paying so much money, what do I get in return for my money? So you have to
yeah.
pitch it more. You have to.
So how do you give us some like ideas, like for we have tons of young artists. How do they leverage themselves? Like how are you pitching? How are you getting better
Okay,
at that? How are you
so
making bigger deal sizes?
I love fashion and I love like luxury watches. That's one of my, this is my guilty pleasure. So when I'm on Instagram, my algorithm is all like Rolex watches and fancy clothes going by. So there's this store here in Amsterdam, and it's called Amsterdam Vintage Watches. And it so happened for me to just, I was following them and they were following me, and we had a lot of fun interaction going back and forth on Instagram.
Yeah.
And they were liking a lot of my stories, and I was like posting on like commenting on their posts, and we have like the same humor. So I know there was like a chemistry going on, but nothing else. It was just like something
Uh,
was hanging there in the air. And my girlfriend, she told me like, yo, you should do something with that. And I was like, yeah, but what? What should I do? And she was like, yeah, well, come up with a concept, just like do your research, see how they are. You talk to them every day, just hit them up, go do a coffee with them, see how they are, and make an idea and pitch it to them. And I got kind of nervous about that because I was like, I don't think these guys are like waiting on someone to be like, hey, should I come and do a coffee with you just super randomly? So I sent him a message and I said like, hey, do you have time somewhere this week? And he was like, yeah, sure, drop by. So first of all, I was surprised that he said yes.
Uh-huh.
So I went over there and we had a coffee. And from the moment I walked into the store, so imagine these guys sell vintage watches. So you can go to them and be like, hey, I want to have a watch from 1993 from that day, and they'll go look it for you and they'll make it happen. So when I entered the store, I noticed that they were listening to hip hop. And I never expected that. And they were young, they were fresh, and they were everything like I never expected them to be that way. So we sat down and we had a coffee, and when I went back home, I told my girlfriend this, and she was like, well, you know what you should do? You should set up a shoot, but have like an idea behind the shoot. So trigger them into doing the shoot, but then have like a small idea behind it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, let's do it. So I pitched to do, I did research on how Rolex, how they treat their ambassadors. And I noticed that they have like all the sport guys like Tiger Woods, Lewis Hamilton, they're all like Rolex ambassadors, and they have black and white pictures of them with their watches like this. So I took that and I told them like, hey, I want to shoot something similar like this for you guys, and as a return, I'll frame it in and I'll bring it back to your store. And I told them when you do that, also bring in like a shirt with like a high thing. What do you call it? A turtleneck.
Yeah.
I told him like, hey, bring a turtleneck, because I saw, you remember the old cover from XXL magazine with Suge Knight, Tupac, and Snoop Dogg?
No, but I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up. But they're all like standing, and it's a picture. And they all have like black turtlenecks, and they're all flashing their gold Rolex.
Okay.
So I was like,
I see it. I'm here. I got it. Yeah, I know this one.
Yeah.
It's like always the Snoop Dogg. They always have it for Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all three of them combined in one picture, and they're all flashing their gold Rolex.
Yeah.
So I had that idea in mind, and I was like, okay, let me shoot this also and edit it, but not tell them that I want to do this. So we did the photo shoot. We did everything I wanted to do. And I went back home. I edited the pictures that I wanted how it to be. And my girlfriend helped me to edit the magazine cover. Mm-hmm. So we did that, and we printed it on a t-shirt. And we had the Amsterdam vintage watches put on top of it. I had 3 of them made. I had them in boxes. It was like in gift wrap. And when I went to the store, first I gave them the picture that I promised. They were excited about that. But when I handed over the t-shirt and they opened it, they couldn't believe it. They were like, what the fuck? Why would you do something like that? They didn't see it coming. And they were kind of blown away by it at the moment. So they put on the t-shirt and they put it on the Instagram, like, should we release this, yes or no? And their following went crazy. They were like, yes, we would buy this. Yeah. So they turned out to eventually make the t-shirts in collaboration with me.
That's so cool.
So to come back
to,
yeah, so
sometimes when you get into something, you don't know where it's going to take you, but like you just have to keep your mind open and it will come.
I know, and don't be scared for trying something, because if my girlfriend would never tell me like, hey, do something with it, it would have always been like me liking their picture and they're liking my picture. There would be like some kind of interaction, but that's it. And now we became...
It's good to have somebody that supports you and like pushes you to do things. Well, especially, I feel like as artists.
Behind every king, there's like a queen. So
vice versa, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah, so well, yeah, that was one of the things that really opened my eyes, and I think that was also one of my highlight projects of last year. And it was something that wasn't planned. Like maybe it was planned in my mind and with the people that I discussed of doing it, but it wasn't something that they asked me to do, and it
Yeah.
sure wasn't something that I told them that I was going to do. It
You're
just,
so right. Like being more of a, like, you're so right about people asking for photos and you deliver them and you like go away. That's like, I feel like also that that's boring a lot of people. Like they're getting bored with that because it's like you're just only as good as your output and X amount of photos on X revenue. And it's just like this way you're exercising your creativity, but then you're also, you just have to, but you're figuring out a way to monetize too.
I think also, and something that you should always ask yourselves, like, what makes me different than everyone else?
Yeah.
So,
So what
if
makes you
someone,
different?
yes, because if someone, well, that's something that I keep asking myself. But one thing that I did know about it, it's like, it's not about what makes me different, but it's the way that you approach things has to be different. So,
Yeah.
if someone asks me, like, hey, do you want to shoot this? I can say yes. I can go and shoot it. I edit the picture. I send him the files. He pays my invoice, and that's it. But instead of just doing that, like ask him, like, okay, what do you need? Why do you need it? What are your plans? What's your strategy? How can I help you in your strategy to have like a long-term relationship instead of you just hiring me once? Like, how can I contribute to your company, or how can I contribute to your strategy? I think that's more important, and that should be different.
And that's easier to do when you care about what they do and you like it.
Yeah. So
You don't want to do
also,
that for like I don't know, some business that's boring that you don't care about.
no, but I've been shooting for almost 10 years now. So I know how to narrow down and know the things that I want to do. And sometimes saying no is the best thing ever, because it saves you a lot of headache. And
Yeah.
if you're going to just do something for the money, then don't do it. And it's easier to say it than to do it, because at the
Yeah,
end of
you
the day,
have to at first, I
you
think.
have
That's
to
true.
pay your bills and stuff. But I think that if you're clear with the things, especially that you want to tell people, like, hey, this is what I do and I'm good at this, then people know you, okay, so let's approach him for that, and not ask him to shoot, like, hey, do you want to shoot me and my 4 kids in my backyard? No. Yeah,
Unless they're
no.
cute.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you asking me, but no, that's not me.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Ali. I hope to see you soon in Amsterdam. We can rock out at a concert.
Yeah, hey, listen, anytime if you come over here, hit me up. Me and my girlfriend, we're more than happy to help here.
That'd be awesome. Thanks so much. Talk soon.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Bye.
Bye bye.